I went ahead and sewed down the stems, the long center stem and the side stems. And then I attempted to sew down this flower leaves, these flowers and these leaves. And then it was a split design. So then this one, then this leaf and this leaf. That did not work out so well. I ended up having a misalignment. My advice in this situation, when you have a large design like this and you know you're going to have to split it, you can break it down into smaller hoopings than you had intended. You'll have better accuracy. I do want to make sure, like these leaves right here, okay? These are aligned perfectly. They're in the right angle and everything is right with them because we did this using all of the guides to make sure everything was level and even. What I'm going to do, let me go over here to the objects panel, and I want to choose this leaf and this leaf, just those two, and I'm going to right click, copy, and then I'm going to come up here to new and right click and paste. All right. So now this file is just the leaves, and I'm going to save file, save stitch file as, and these are forget me not leaves. Okay. That's all I want to do on those. If you do not have a camera system, you should print this out. I've got a camera system that I'm going to use, so I don't need to do the printout. But I know that these two are exactly spaced perfectly to go on either side of the stem. Okay, that long center stem. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to come up here and just click the flower. And it's this center right here. So just that flower. Now these are identical. All of them are identical. So I'm going to right click and copy, and I'm going to go new and right click and paste. Okay. And it's automatically in the center. So file, save stitch file as, and it is forget me not flower. All right. So I'm going to stitch on just the flowers, and then I'm going to place the leaves. And that way I know that the leaves will fit where I want them to on the background. I'm also going to jump over to the multi-needle because I'm really tired of changing threads. That's the way I'm going to manage that. Okay, I just finished doing this one and it worked out really, really well. So because the design is so big, trying to get this aligned and these two and these two and the leaves and the leaves and the leaves is just too much. So I created a design just for the flower and another design of the two leaves together because I know that they are exactly even with one another and designed to be on either side of the stem. I just had to do a whole bunch of picking out because it just didn't work. I could probably do one of these. Yeah, I can do this in the same hooping. So I'll take you through my process. So this is a really good time too. So I use the Filtech magnetic bobbin and see how little is on there. This is one that I saved. I started a bigger project. I had just a little bit left, so I threw it to the side. I keep a little dish of these in my, it's got a couple screwdrivers in here. They're magnetic. All the magnets stick to them. Anyway, that's for my bobbins. And so I just keep these little ones, and they're perfect for doing small little projects just like this. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the machine. So many of you are telling me that you're getting multi-needles because you've seen me using mine, and that just makes my day. You have no idea. So let me show you how I'm gonna do this here. I sent the design over wirelessly. So I'm gonna touch the wireless icon there. Now, these are the two designs. There's the flower and the leaves. And I want the flower. And I'm going to tell it set. All right, now if I wanted to add the leaves now too, that's where you would touch add and then wireless and then pick them. But we're just going to do just the flower. And I'm going to tell it right now, before, so we're in edit mode right now because that says edit end. While we're in edit mode, I want to hit the camera button. So I'm going to touch the camera. It says the frame's going to move and it's going to take a picture. The camera is actually right under here, and it's taking a picture of everything it sees in the hoop. This is the Designs and Machine Embroidery 8.5 by 12, I think. I can't remember. All right. So now, let me show you the screen. Now you can see it right on the screen. Okay. To move this around, you can use the jog buttons, or I can just touch it and move it. Now notice when I touch it and move it, the hoop is not moving. You did not hear the hoop move. I want to move it up just a little bit, and that's where I'm going to use the jog buttons. So what I'm looking for there, that's pretty good, is to get that little cleavage of the flower petals right on the end of that stem. Maybe just a tad bit higher so it doesn't look weird. Kind of like where the center of the flower would be. That might be okay, just like that. So that'll look all right. Move it just a little bit further in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit add. And I'm going to go wireless and the flower. And I'm going to hit set. I haven't digitized them so that they're going to do all the blue at one time. It's going to do blue, yellow, blue, yellow. But that's okay, because I know they're going to be all right. All right. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see, where it says select, I can jump to the other one. I'm trying to look and make sure if these are level. They look fairly level to me. So I can see that. That looks pretty level to me. It's good enough for government work. I think that that'll be okay. I want to go add. I want to go back to wireless. I want to take my leaves and I'm going to hit set. All right, so now the leaves are the third element I've brought in, and see how they're just the right distance apart. That looks pretty good. So now I can see that this flower is a little lower than this flower. So I'm going to hit select until I get the red box around that flower, and I'm going to come down until the distance between this petal and this leaf and this petal and this leaf are pretty close. That looks really good. Okay, so that's how I'm managing these. Oh, those leaves need to move up just a hair so that there's equal distance between the petals on this end and the petals up here. So select until I get to the leaves and move those up. That looks pretty good. I like it. So I'm just going to hit edit end. Now that I'm in embroidery, you see I still have jog buttons. If I was to jog this at all, it would move the hoop because we're out of edit mode. That's just FYI. You want to make sure that these two buttons right here, tie in and tie out, are highlighted so that we get knots when we're supposed to. And now I'm going to go through and tell it what thread colors to use. So I'm going to hit my 3 spools. This column right here corresponds to the color stops in the design, and these 2 columns right here correspond to the spools on the back of the machine. This is manually adding colors. We have a preview window to show what we're doing, and I'm on 1 out of 12 color stops. This is my hand button to say stop, and then I have a do not stitch and an OK. This digitizing was done in Brilliance, so it completely skips, this was in Brilliance Stitch Artist 2, so it completely skips the tack down line. It knows we don't need it. It also automatically puts a hand there on the first one, which we don't need, but anyway, so this is the placement line for the blue petals, and that is spool number 3, so I'm going to touch 3. So number 2, that is the tack down, no, that is the final blanket stitch for the petals, and that's going to be spool number 3 as well. Before it stitches that, I want it to stop. Okay, so these things don't stitch then stop, they stop then stitch.
So I want it to stop, so I put a hand up, and that's so I can go iron on the flower, okay, before it does the final blanket stitch. This next one is the circle for the center. That is spool number 9. So it, in Brilliance, assigned a stop to it, and it didn't need to be there, and I can't undo that. It's annoying. I'll just have to keep hitting lock, go on every one of those, but that's okay. Better safe than sorry. And then that's the blanket stitch for the yellow. That is on number 9. Before it does that, I want it to stop, and then number 9, and that's so I can iron on the yellow part. And we're just going to go through this again. There we are. That is the placement line for the petals, spool number 3. Tack down, or the final blanket stitch for the petals, stop beforehand so I can iron it on, number 3. Placement line for the yellow is number 9. And then this is the final blanket stitch for number 9. For the circle, I want it to stop so I can iron it on. And I'm going to spool number 9. Now I'm going to jump around in here. So I do all of the tack down first, all of the circles next, and the leaves. And I'll show you all how so I only want to go to the ironing board one time, pretty much. I'm being lazy. It's a way to kind of navigate around in the system here. So all right, so there is leaf number 1, and that is going to be stitched on spool number 4 for that green. Okay, there's the blanket stitch, stop beforehand so I can iron it down, and spool number 3. And that is going to be spool number 3. It's already a 3, and that stop beforehand and spool number 3. Okay, that looks good. Why is that a 4? That needs to be spool. Oh, that is right. My bad. 4s. Not 3. 3 is blue. I don't want that. There we go. That looks right. Okay, I'm going to tell it okay, and we're going to go to embroidery. Now I'm going to use the needle plus minus a lot to jump around in this sequencing. So I do all of the placement lines first, and then go iron everything on, and then do all the tack downs. So you don't have to do that, but like I said, I'm just trying to make it easier. So, all right, this looks good. I'm going to hit lock and go. So here's the placement line for the petals. It's going to stop. So, back to needle plus minus, jump to the next yellow stitch. There's placement line for the other set of petals. Tell it okay. Needle plus minus, jump to the next placement stitch. Oh, that's awesome. All right, needle plus minus, jump to the last placement stitch. All right, I'm gonna go iron everything down. You guys might have had a good laugh. I got over to the ironing board and I was like, those yellow circles aren't gonna work because I can't see them. Okay, so here's how you fix that. I'm gonna come back over here to needle plus minus. And I am, let's see, let me touch needle plus minus, and I'm going to go up for the first circle right there. Oops. And I'm going to go to needle plus minus and jump down to the next circle. Now I'm going to go iron those on. All right, now I'm going to go through the same process again. Needle plus minus, go all the way up to the top. That is stitch number 2 of 12. I'm going to tell it okay. And to the next blanket stitch. You guys, I know it might seem like a lot of work, but once you get the hang of this, it is infinitely better than putting all this on by hand. Infinitely better than putting everything on by a standard sewing machine. All right. So that turned out fabulous. I love it. Okay. And the next hooping, I'm just going to move this up. Did I sew it to myself? Oops. Oops. That happens. No big deal. Look at that. I sewed it to itself. I had that hanging down. That happens. No big deal. All right. And you can see here for the other large hoop I was doing, I actually sewed some more stabilizer on the sides. And then I just decided, why am I doing this in the single needle? I'm a glutton for punishment or something. Okay, so now the next hooping is going to be 2 more leaves, 2 flowers first, then the leaves to get the distance right. And then there's 2 more leaves down here, and then there'll be a whole nother hooping just for the pot. But let's see, the leaves are going to be about here. I think that's the edge of the hoop is right there. The leaves are going to come right about here. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. There's no need to get crazy. If I have to do 4 hoopings, I will. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on. Now, if I did not have a camera system, let's say you can do this in any size hoop. If you've got nothing but a 6x10 or a 5x7, you can still do this block, okay? You're just going to do a ton of little hoopings. And if you don't have a camera system, you're going to want to print out the flower design, the single flower design, print it out, trim all around it, and then make sure you leave your crosshairs, fold that into quarters, place it exactly where you want it, fold it down, make a mark, fold it over, make a mark. You guys have seen me do that 100 times. Get your crosshair and then make sure that when you hoop it, your needle drops right on the center of that crosshair and you're ready to go. It's that simple. So the benefit of the multi-needle is I don't have to change threads. And I can do, of course, it's a bigger hoop, so I can do more. But I will do this all day long. So I'll see you guys back here when I'm finished. All right, so I'm at my 3rd hooping. Now, this is exactly what I was talking about, printing out your template, Okay, it's got crosshairs on it, and it doesn't matter whether it's just the flower or maybe it's just both leaves. You need those crosshairs in order to make sure you get the placement that you're looking for. Now, I still need to put down these other two leaves, but I'm not doing that yet because I want to make sure that I get this exactly where I need it. So I don't know if you remember, if you're following along from another video, I said this stem needs to be underneath the bucket by, it's like 1/2 inch, and I made a mark on there. So I'm just going to feel where the stem starts, which is right there, and it is center. I can see the stem fabric through the paper, and this looks pretty straight. I'm looking at these crosshair lines, these alignment lines on the template with the center of the stem. I like that. I think that looks really good. I'm gonna fold this template right on the top of the bucket edge of the planter edge. Okay. Then I want to place this right where. Okay, so I've got the center, the crosshair from the template in the center of the stem. And I'm going to take this fine line friction marker and I'm going to put it right here so that I know the top of the planter bucket goes right there. This is what I'll use to mark the top of the planter, and then I can figure out where the leaves are going to go. So see, this is pretty easy. Let me move this up. I want to make sure I still have some stabilizer down here at the bottom so it can hoop it. I think I'm going to do this upside down so this front fabric hangs off. Okay, so I'm going to go back to home, tell it okay. All right, going to go to wireless. All right, there it is, set. I want to rotate it, so I'm going to hit rotate, 90 that way, okay. And I'm going to tell it okay, and I want to add wireless, my leaves, set, rotate, 90 and 90, bring them way down, and tell it okay. Oh, now I need to scan now. Let's see what we've got here. Touch this. I can see that line that I drew. This is way past. Oh, I see. So my theory was off. I can't go below that line. So I have to pull this right here. Move them just a little bit above the edge of the pot. All right, so we're good up here. We're good here. That'll work. So my whole theory of drawing that line was stupid. Okay, here we go. I know, no negative self-talk. It's fine, I'm okay with it. All right, I'm gonna hit edit end. Now I need to assign thread colors. Okay. So let's see, that is the outer handle. And that's my dark blue, so that's a 10. And the blanket stitching, I want it to stop so I can iron it down on 10. Inner handle is going to be on 1, which is white. No, it is 6. What was I thinking? All right, stop and 6, right? Yes. This is number 10, blue. Stop and 10. The leaf green I'm using is spool number 4. Stop 4. 4 and stop, and it's already on 4, and that's it. Okay, all right. Embroidery. Got to iron that on. Now this flower pot fabric is directional. So you're going to want to pay attention to that. Make sure the base of the flowers on there is at the, because mine's upside down, so just, you need to pay attention to that. Okay, and just like before, I'm going to go into needle plus minus, and I'm going to go to the next placement line, let it stitch. I'm going to go iron those on. Back to needle plus minus. And blanket stitch the first leaf. Needle plus minus, blanket stitch the second leaf. All done. Oh, this turned out amazing. Awesome sauce, you guys. Look at this. It's perfectly placed and all done. Oh, so I was able to get all of this stitched on in about half an hour. And it's awesome. I'm so excited. Okay, back in the groove now. I love this. It's beautiful. We'll talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. Bye.